live stream the meeting is what it says on my computer.
Welcome, everyone.
Yep, it's alive.
Welcome. Here we go.
I'm just gonna give it a few seconds. Let everybody settle in this morning. Live stream the meeting is what it says on my. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, delegates. I hope you all had a fantastic sleep, something nice for breakfast this morning. You all look fresh and ready. This is a really big day. Welcome to day 2 of our Youth Nation 2021 committee session. For those of you who may be joining us this morning and weren't part of our day yesterday, we had a very exciting day 1. We heard some excellent speeches from every delegate. We heard their position on the topic of protecting our wildlife. We had some very animated discussion and debate around potential solutions. And we left off with 2 subtopic working groups who have almost fully constructed a draft resolution that they will finish this morning and present to each other and then merge. So we have a lot of really great work ahead of us, and I think we're ready. So we're going to start by formally opening up our meeting. And I would like to invite our Vice Chair, Mrs. Jennifer Young, to conduct roll call.
Thank you, Chair. I will now call on each country in alphabetical order to indicate if you're here today. When I do, please indicate to us if your country is present and voting. Australia.
The delegate of Australia is present and voting.
Belize.
The delegate of Belize is present and voting.
China.
The delegate of China is present and voting.
Kazakhstan.
The delegate of Kazakhstan is present and voting.
Thank you. Kenya.
The delegate of Kenya is present and voting.
Qatar.
The delegate of Qatar is present and voting.
Singapore.
Delegate of Singapore is present and voting.
Spain.
Delegate of Spain is present and voting.
Tuvalu.
The delegate of Tuvalu is present and voting.
United Kingdom.
The delegate of the UK is present and voting.
And Vietnam.
Delegate of Vietnam is present and voting.
Thank you, delegates. Since all members are present and voting, we have established quorum for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Since we are able to pass a resolution this morning, given that we have quorum, we'll now commence with the completion of our draft resolutions. So at this time, we will split back into 2 subtopic groups. Subtopic 1, we'll continue to work with Mrs. Young, and you'll attend the breakout room, and you'll be given 15 minutes to complete your resolutions from yesterday. And I will invite you to draft up to 2 more operative clauses if you wish. You don't have to, but I feel that we have a little extra space in our overall resolution. So you're welcome to take advantage of that and have an additional 2 operative clauses. In 15 minutes, we will all rejoin in the main room and we will present to each other. Subtopic group 2 will stay with me here in the main room, and we will complete our draft resolution and get ready to present it as well. So we will see you all back here again in about 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Well, let's get started.
Excellent. So delegates, are you all able to see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. So how would you like to start? Would you like to review what you had yesterday and then start to frame them with the proper wording for the operative clauses?
Sure. We should probably get on the operative clauses too. So.
Does everybody have a copy of the resolution clauses page with them?
with me right this second? No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it.
What? Okay, looks like Belize has it. Kenya?
Where I have it.
Okay. I also have it electronically that I can put up on the screen if anybody needs. Okay, so the floor is yours, delegates. I will be your scribe, and you can go ahead and look through each of the operative clauses and perhaps start to put some wording using those formal starting words.
Okay.
I don't remember it saying find ways that the 30 by 30 initiative can help children so that
I
the
do.
country will be more likely
No,
to.
it said that. It always said that.
I don't remember having that there, but
I remember having it there.
the help children part, I just don't understand why it's there.
It's because people did a different research thing, and for a different problem that people were more likely to do the thing they wanted to do,
Mhm.
like the people doing the research wanted to do, if they told them the benefits it had on their children.
Oh,
It might work for this too.
I didn't know that we actually specified children there, but it's okay. So let's go to number 1. We should probably create government programs for organizing community cleanup efforts called cleanup programs, CUPS. I do not have the resolution clause. I don't have the operative clauses.
You could say encourages governments to organize programs.
To organize programs for organizing community cleanups efforts called CUP cleanup programs, CUPS.
Also, you know the plastic island thing?
Yeah.
Well, that I feel like it would be a good idea for in the water to focus a bit more on that.
But we only have 15 minutes.
True.
Mm-hmm. So next one would be find ways that 30 by 30 initiative can help children so that countries will be more likely to participate in the program. I'm gonna go try to find the sheet. I probably can. I'll just need a sec.
The words are here if you want to have a quick peek.
Oh, thank you. Accepts, affirms, approves, authorizing. Can you go back to the working paper for a sec?
Sure.
Find ways. Okay, can you go back? I could do that, but How about encourages? If we go back, I just want to word it. So.
The other one's encourages though.
Oh yeah, true. We don't want to do the same thing twice. Okay.
We could say further invites and then move it down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Farther invites. How do you want to word? Farther invites ways that the 30 by 30 initiative can help. Yeah, okay, that's good. Number 3, create a treaty that would have countries enforce the implementation of cameras in the form of old cell phones or cameras to catch poachers in the act of poaching. So, should we do calls upon? Like calls upon the government to governments to create a treaty that would have countries enforce the implementation of cameras in the form of old cell phones or cameras to catch poachers in the act of poaching. Did anybody hear the first part? Calls upon governments to create or calls upon the UN, maybe because we're creating the treaty part, right? So I'd say calls upon the UN.
Do you, within the UN, do you want to specify? So you are the UNEP.
Yeah.
So you could propose a treaty, or you could ask somebody like the General Assembly.
Yeah, I was about to say like the General Assembly was going to be, because that's the one where all the countries are there. So host a global Earth Day per month on the 22nd, or every month countries do Earth Day activities. Shouldn't it say on the 22nd of every month, or are we giving them the option not to do it on the 22nd too?
I think that was a typo.
Another thing other than turning off the lights and cleaning up garbage, you could plant trees.
Yeah, those are like planting, picking up garbage, turning off lights. Those are all like Earth Day activities. So
Would you like, Delegate of Vietnam, would you like them specified perhaps like in parentheses here? Or would you like it to be
put such as, you put such planting.
Yeah, Delegate of Kenya, go ahead, honey. It's informal, so feel free to talk anytime.
Can
And
you go to
cleaning up
number-
garbage, put at the end.
Go ahead, Kenya.
Could you go to number 1?
Absolutely.
Okay. Could you like maybe do community programs like at the beginning?
Oh, I get what you mean.
Just like one word instead of like.
It says at the start of number 1 to organize programs. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
So, Kenya, if I were to write organize community programs,
Yeah.
and then continue the sentence for me for,
For
and then do you want anything changed after that?
what about gathering, cleanup? For gathering. I don't know. Community efforts. Okay.
Does this look right for you, Kenya?
Yep.
Great.
I don't think for number 2 that really works actually.
Go ahead, Delegate. Did you want to explore a different set of wording here?
Well, helping children seems kind of
Requests.
random.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's the children, and then we could also say requests, ways that the 30 by 30 initiative can help. I'd say people instead of children, so that countries will be more likely to participate in the program.
Or instead of help, it could be like encourage people. Or help get more
We wanted
money.
to encourage this, but one is already encourages, so we didn't want to do multiple in a row.
Or help the country be less poor or get more money. That
Like,
would probably encourage
help.
them.
Yeah, it's basically can help.
Help the country.
You can put the country, people, essentially anything, but just children is oddly specific.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of like saying, because you're saying it's only going to help children, but not adults. Like,
Yeah.
because it's going to help both in the
So
end.
maybe do like help the country or community.
Yeah, the country, people, continent. Countries. It says help countries, so that countries. Also, can we go back to further invites and change it to requests?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah. Ways that the 30 by 30 initiative can help countries so that countries will be more likely to participate in the program. Sounds good?
I don't think countries and countries like together sounds right, but I don't know how. I don't really have another word for it. I just don't think it sounds right there.
Yeah, but it makes grammatically sense. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you have two words, the same word twice in a row. Sometimes it makes sense. So
Delegates, when the wording feels funny, sometimes it's worth not looking at the sentence for a second and just explaining it again in your own words from the beginning, fresh, and just say, okay, what is the essence? What are we trying to say in this operative paragraph? What is the meaning? So if
You
I were to
should
ask,
move the quote marks, like the one at the back of the 30 by 30 to the back of initiative.
yeah, because it's called the 30 by 30 initiative.
thank you, delegate.
Can we just, instead of doing countries, help people because it just sounds better?
Yeah, countries so that countries doesn't
Yeah, it just sounds better to
really
do people.
work.
Okay, now we just need to put unless someone has something that they like to change with 1, 2, or 3, we just have number 4.
Okay, Global Earth Day per month on the 22nd of every month. Countries do Earth Day activities.
Just a global Earth.
For number 4, like maybe take away per month because on the 22nd of every month.
Yeah, Earth Day on the 22nd of every month.
Yeah.
Country, and then countries do Earth Day.
You could say requests, governments too.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good. We have done a request before.
Oh,
True.
I still think
in the
number
30
2
by
sounds
30.
weird.
Further recommend.
Or you could say further requests. That works too.
Yeah,
Or further recommends.
No,
it doesn't really matter at this point.
Or encourages.
Requests.
Okay. Can we decide on one and stop changing it every 10 seconds?
All right.
Clean should be
then.
cleaning, by the way, at the end of number 4. Chair?
Sorry, 1 second, delegates. Just taking a little check on time and making sure we have enough time so we can move to our preamble as well. What was that last request?
So for clean should be cleaning at the end of 4, number 4 at the end. It says, and clean up garbage should be cleaning.
Perfect. So delegates,
And
go ahead, sorry.
anybody have any changes or concerns about 1, 2, 3, or 4?
No, I think it's good.
So we need to write 2 preambulatory paragraphs. So these are 2 introductory statements that kind
Wait,
of.
don't you need semicolons?
Good catch.
Yes, the semicolons. The semicolons.
The semicolons are in.
One thing I like about poetry in this is because you don't actually have to put periods, and it doesn't have to be like all grammarly correct and stuff. It can you just type stuff down and then put some, and like it doesn't even have to look right. So nice.
So delegates, what introductory statements would you like to make about the problem so that people understand why you've made these solutions?
So we should start off probably about the problem. So why don't we do alarmed by the fact that animals are going extinct, or species, or wildlife is going
Rapidly.
extinct. Like wildlife is going extinct.
Rapidly.
That's fair.
Yeah, rapidly.
Or at a rapid pace, either one.
Rapidly is good. How many sentences do you have to do for these? 4?
Two.
Oh yeah, 2.
Halfway
Okay.
there.
Wow. Alarmed by the fact that wildlife is going extinct rapidly go down. I just want to see all these things. And what are the other ones? Deeply disturbed. Deeply How about taking into it? Oh, sorry, what?
You could say, what? Noting. Oh, never mind. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I was going to say like deeply disturbed, deeply convinced that we can do like better, or taking into account
Concerned.
all 3 of those. Is there one that you guys would like more?
Maybe deeply regretting.
Deeply regretting that we haven't like taken action yet.
Hmm.
That we have yet to take action.
Mm.
Because we've done like small
Hmm.
things, but not like anything really major,
Yeah.
especially with all the money and stuff that's going into bad things. So.
There's words and I forget what they are, but one of them is doing something that needs to be done when it needs to be done. The other is knowing when something bad is going to happen and then trying to stop the bad thing before it happens. And then there's one more that I forget.
Yeah. Well, don't we only need 2, you said?
Hmm.
Can we do more though?
And you do that? Well, we're going to be merging this with the other ones. If you wanted to do one additional one, if there's something else you really want to convey, you may. Kenya, I see your hand is up, honey. Did you want to add something, or was it just from before?
Oh, it's from before.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Scroll down
Sure.
to the ideas. So, is there anything that someone would like to suggest?
Okay, delegates, then why don't we leave it there? Only because we need to rejoin with the other group. And before we do, you'll need to decide who, and it can be more than one, it could be all of
Would
you.
we rejoin because we're
They'll rejoin
on
us.
the main
You're right.
meeting?
They'll rejoin us. We need to decide who is going to present this to the other group and how you want to split it up. So it's entirely up to you.
Well, there's 4 things plus 2 sentences is 6.
So maybe one of us can read each of them.
So one of us can each of the 4, but who wants to read like we need people to read the first 2. If anyone does, you can raise your hand. If not, don't raise your hand. Or use the thumbs up tool, whichever one. I'll go to participants so and see.
Perhaps we could do it this way. Maybe one person could read the 2 preamble sentences. Another person could read 2 of the operative paragraphs. And then the last 2 people could each read 1 of the operative paragraphs.
Can I read 1? I'm not like.
Sure.
I'll read 1.
You'll read 1? Okay. Is there somebody who would volunteer to read the preamble?
I think everyone here wants to read 1, unless I'm mistaken, but.
I won't
I'll
read
read
it.
that one. No, I don't care.
Because if so, I don't mind reading 2, but.
I'll do 2.
Thank you.
I'll do
Louisa.
2.
So those who are doing 2, I'll let you. So Louisa, will you choose first? Do you want to do the 2 preambles or 2 of the operatives?
Two of the
Big pollutions?
I think operatives.
Operatives. Okay, do you want to do number 1 and 2 or number 3 and 4?
1 and 2.
Okay, so I'm just going to put Louisa here and Louisa here. And then who else was going to do 2? Kate? Okay, so then Kate, is it okay if you read our preamble to introduce? Excellent. And then Ethan.
I'll read 3 and Tyler will read 4. Is that okay with you, Tyler?
Wonderful. Perfect. I'm going to let our vice chair know that we're ready. And then they will join us shortly. So let's clean this up a little bit. I'll do that after when we merge, then we can take some of this out.
I just realized that the first 2 are actually shorter than 3 and then 4 like separately.
You guys done?
That's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We are
Back.
ready. How about you?
We are ready. Thank you.
Never been more.
Wonderful. Mrs. Young, would you like to share your screen and invite your group to present first?
We would definitely like to do that. Thank you. Our delegates are ready to present their draft resolution working paper. I will share my screen and we will begin with Kazakhstan, who will read our 2 preambulatory clauses. And maybe you can start right here. Kazakhstan, go ahead.
All right. Do I have to read like the subtopic 1 too?
I would start with that, sure.
Subtopic 1, the environment and the protection of wildlife. Keeping in mind that water levels are rising and climate change is not getting better, we should act now. Believing that everyone can help fight climate change and doing even something small helps.
Thank you. Next is Spain. Oh, sorry, Spain. Let me go back here. Let me just bring up that document again.
Take your time, Mrs. Young. And delegates, for those of you who are in group 2, this is your opportunity to really listen to what group 1 is presenting to see if your country has any ideas to amend what's been written or change it in any way, or if your country feels like these are great ideas, because we're going to merge them in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Delegate from Spain, you can go ahead with our first operative clause.
Urges more focus on saving and developing conservation areas to improve the number of quality of life for the animals. Animals will feel more comfortable to live there. In these areas, countries could collect more data for endangered species if needed.
Thank you. Delegate from China.
Approves that countries use more reusable resources and more renewable energy forms. Encourages countries to try the initiative of the Great Green Wall, started by African countries. That is a wall of trees that stretches across the Sahel region.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate from Australia.
Recommends that if someone wanted to go fishing, they would get a fish card. When they return to the marina, someone checks their boat for how many fish you have on board and puts it on your card. If you hit the limit for the year, you would not be able to fish for the rest of the year. If someone gets caught without their country's fish card, they can go to jail or face other consequences. Fishing cards would be paid for, and those funds will go directly to wildlife prevention. Calls upon the UNEP to encourage other countries to follow Australia's strategy to limit plastic pollution in the ocean by using special sewer nets that let water and wildlife through but catch plastic.
Thank you. delegate from Tuvalu.
Draws attention to water levels rising, showing that we need to decrease global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or lower. We need to decrease greenhouse gases in the air by making sure that in the next 10 years that countries will decrease their greenhouse gases by 10%. Endorses regulations and tougher punishments to create programs to increase participation to report acts of poaching. Further recommends strong laws regarding hunting areas and what is allowed to be hunted.
Thank you. And finally, Tuvalu.
Qatar.
Qatar. Thank you, Qatar.
Further requests educating people on the importance of protecting biodiversity and the looming problem of pollution. Supports the idea of encouraging car companies to go fully electric by 2030.
Excellent.
Thank you, delegates.
Wow, I think let's show our appreciation and acknowledgement for subtopic group 1. Yeah, you can use your emojis. Well done, delegates. Such thoughtful and detailed resolution clauses. This is amazing. What a start we're off to today. Okay, subtopic group 2 is going to share their draft resolution. Let's pull that up here. Wonderful. And Kate is going to start us off with our preamble.
Alarmed by the fact that wildlife is going extinct rapidly, deeply regretting that we have yet to take action.
You and Louisa.
Encourages governments to organize community programs for gathering community cleanup efforts called Cleanup Programs Cups. Requests ways that the 30 by 30 initiative can help people so that countries will be more likely to participate in the program.
Thank you, Delegate. And Ethan?
Calls upon the General Assembly to create a treaty that would have countries enforce the implementation of cameras in the form of old cell phones or cameras to catch poachers in the act of poaching.
Thank you, Delegate. And finally, Tyler.
Further requests governments to host a global Earth Day on the 22nd of every month, continuing to do Earth Day activities such as planting trees, turning off lights, and cleaning up garbage.
Thank you very much, delegates. So at this time, we are going to move to an informal consultation period. And I'm going to just copy and paste all of the elements into one document so that everybody can look at the same piece at the same time. So if you just hold on for about 30 seconds, we can create a single document here.
While our chair does that, please break out group 1. Let's show our appreciation for that working document there from our second group. Really wonderful ideas from everyone today.
So Vice Chair, the document is now merged all into subtopic group 1. Just going to create a numbered list here so we can refer to each of the operative paragraphs by number. And may I turn it over to you to share your screen?
We announced it for co-sponsors now.
No, at this time, delegates, it's your opportunity to debate as an entire group. Did you wish to make any changes to this merged draft resolution? So those of you who are in subtopic group 1, you haven't yet had an opportunity to participate in the ideas that subtopic group 2 was working on, and vice versa. So it's your chance to have your country's voice reflected if you wish to see any changes. So this is just a chance to ask questions. If you have any questions about why, certain operative paragraphs were included, or if you have, if your country feels strongly, against a particular resolution and you want to try and shape it in some way so that your country would be more comfortable with what's written, this is your chance to all as a group refine this document so that it has the best chance of passing today. So the floor.
Oh, can you scroll down? So yeah, we have the, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine with all of them. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say about any of them? All I'm seeing is muted mic, so I'll take that as a no.
I see the delegate of Belize has a raised hand. It's informal, so you're welcome to just speak out, but please go ahead, Belize.
I don't know what number it is now, but the one with the fishing carts.
Yep, yep.
Belize doesn't agree with that, with parts of that, because with the part where it says fishing carts would be paid for.
So what has to happen, or can I explain for what has to happen is depending on, is the delegate of Belize worried about
how much it is going to be?
About how the are you like what we thought there'll be 3 stages of fish cards, and one of them is for commercial fishing, one of them is for, so the prices won't be as big. It's just depending on how much fishing you're going to do. Right? Do you agree? No?
I think it's that right now you can go fish, you don't need to pay for a fish card. And it is going to good causes, but you shouldn't have to pay for the fish card.
Maybe say fishing cards would be pay what you can.
Some people are poor but need to fish.
Then no one would pay. If it's pay what you can, then no one would pay.
Yeah.
Unless you
say, I can't pay. I don't. And then
all right, then we can take it to pay, but then
you give the fish. So if you want to go fishing at the start of the year, you can go to your local fishing dock and get a fish card. Sure. You sign your name. You can't get another one for another year, essentially.
Yeah.
You don't have to you could just renew the card. You don't have to get a whole new card.
I know, but they write down that you get it on this date, so you have to wait a year, is basically what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's still people don't go fish bro, go to steal the fish. Look.
Can we go down to one of their operative clauses, please?
Yeah, just can you
Delegates,
take
I would recommend that we come to a bit of closure here with this operative paragraph. I would like Belize primarily to be comfortable with what she's reading here and continue to work with her fellow delegates to come to a consensus on how this paragraph is worded. And then yes, Qatar, I'm happy to move down. Belize, is there a recommendation you could suggest and maybe hash that out with Australia?
Maybe
you could say you don't have to pay for the fishing cards, and that you could just give them part of the money you get from the fish if you sell them.
What we could do is we do kind of pay what you can, but
I think a bunch of people will be pissed off because you don't have to pay for fishing normally, and then they bring in these fishing cards.
But then, at the place where you get the fishing card, there's a box where you can put money in, just something to.
Okay, yeah, donations.
Donation, yeah, a donation box.
Sure. People are having to pay for nothing.
Yeah, donation box makes sense, but having to pay for it doesn't.
Yeah,
maybe
but donation boxes
would be, there would be a pay box, a donation box, beside the fish cart at the fish cart place for donations.
Yeah.
How about if you catch a certain amount of fish, you don't have to pay, but if you catch a lot of fish, you have to pay.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so
100
price
fish
would be
over.
varied about
You have to
every
pay.
year you'd have to pay depending on how many fish you catch.
So say
you
you
catch-
catch 2 fish, then you don't have to pay as much. If,
No.
Is
if
that
you
okay
catch
with you, Blaze?
500 fish,
Yeah. I like that idea.
that makes sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Price for fishing cards would vary
But
depending on how many
then
fish
it
you
would
catch
be-
every year.
Like,
So it could be free if you catch like not too many fish, but if you catch like a load of fish, then you do have to pay for.
yeah.
Yep.
Delegates,
makes
if you hear something that your country agrees with in this discussion, feel free to just chime in and say, delegate of Kenya agrees. The delegate of Kazakhstan agrees, even if you haven't been the one suggesting the changes, but if it's something that your country feels they could support, feel free to show that support by just stating that your country agrees. And then we know.
Yeah,
we're
the
getting closer.
delegate of Yemen.
Kazakhstan agrees.
Delegate of Australia agrees.
Delegate of the UK agrees.
Delegate of Kenya agrees.
Delegate of China agrees. The delegate of
Vietnam
Tuvalu
agrees.
Delegate of Spain agrees.
Is this for like the whole thing or just the one?
Just that
It's for fish card. Fish card.
Yeah, the delegate of Qatar agrees.
The delegate of Singapore agrees.
As the delegate of Qatar suggested, we are going to go down to subtopic group 2's.
I would know. I was looking for some topic group. Where is it?
Delegates,
One
just
there
give me
too.
1 second there. I'm just doing a bit of renumbering here, and that will, I'm hoping, make things a little easier for you to read. So just be patient here with me, and then we'll have our numbering set.
The number 14 calls upon the General Assembly.
Okay, I'll be right. Delegate, just 1 minute, and I'm almost ready for you here. I think that's our numbering. We'll fix the spacing in a bit, but go ahead, delegate. You would like calls upon?
Yes, calls upon. Calls upon the General Assembly, that one. And you want to catch the poachers with the cell phones and cameras. I think Kenya had something like that in her speech with the Space 50 program, and she was in your group, so.
Yeah, it's like partly based off of like, you know, the video where someone put cameras to catch people. Yeah, it's a mix of that and from what I know, the 50, what was it called again? The
Space 50, I don't see any space.
yeah. From what I know, it's a mix of both.
Kenya, did you have something to say about that? Did you want to put the Space 50 in that? It was your idea with the speech, so.
They need to give
I think it
Space
would
50
fit
some
there.
credit because
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sounds like your own idea.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Also, if we're giving Space 50 some credit, shouldn't we give the video about with the cameras and stuff some credit too?
Yeah.
two
It
different
was a mix of
totally
both.
things.
But the camera thing's for deforestation.
One's a TED talk for deforestation. The other's a Space 50 program, which is like,
The other thing's still already in
That's
place.
for poaching and that's where like
It's
hunting.
essentially the camera thing, but
exactly.
for poaching and hunting.
no, that's exactly what the Space 50 program is for. I'm surprised you
Yeah.
used
The other one is for deforestation.
We should just
I think the Space 50 program could go in there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
the delegate of the UK agrees.
Delegate
the
of
delegate of
Qatar,
Australia agrees.
Delegate of Qatar, feel free to suggest the wording. Thank you for recognizing the efforts of Kenya and what was brought forward to the group yesterday. Feel free to go ahead and add the wording in and suggest to your fellow delegates how you can augment it with Space 50.
Calls upon the General Assembly to create a treaty that would have countries enforce the implementation of cameras or of the Space 50 program or cameras in the form of old cell phones.
Maybe calls upon the General Assembly to encourage
Yeah, the Space 50.
the Space 50 program to catch with old cameras and cell phones. Yeah.
Delegate of Vietnam is just curious about what if the people were like, what if there's something like a camera in the thing and they thought maybe there's a camera or something.
Yeah, I know, but that was the Space 50
And they look.
program was for.
So if they know there's a camera there, they're not going to go hunting there.
That's true.
Or they
Police
could
are
just cover
like-
up the camera. They could just
Oh, they're probably going to cover up the camera, but if someone figures out there's a camera there, then they're not going to go back hunting there, which is what you want.
I know, but they're gonna
Oh
go.
yes, but they could just
that-
destroy it. They could just move it. They could do so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah, yeah.
But then they could
There's
just
also
get
a
the camera
tracking
again, see that something happened to it,
I know, but this is
or see it get destroyed because they can look at the camera.
whatever.
And then
Yeah, but
I
there's
think there
also
should be
tracking
multiple, and
devices.
It's the
some
same
of
thing
them
at a
should
bank.
be
Yeah,
hidden.
although we multiple, but same thing at a bank when the security cameras are on the bank. I guess you could destroy it, but then everyone sees you destroying it.
Yeah,
I have some
Yeah.
voices
The
trying to
delegate of
share.
Vietnam thinks that there should be multiple in different places that are, and some of them should be hidden.
I think they
Yeah,
should.
there is, because they're not just one camera. Like
The delegate of Australia agrees.
The delegate of Qatar thinks that they should all be hidden because if they see the camera, they're gonna try to whack it down. But even if they don't, they're gonna go somewhere else where there's not cameras because this looks like if it's a poor country, they're not gonna have like the money to put cameras every 2 meters.
Yeah, the delegate.
Delegates
Yeah,
are delegates.
The
sorry to
delegate of
interrupt
the
here.
UK agrees.
Delegates, are you proposing we add the word hidden into this
Yes.
operative paragraph? Could you
So
tell
calls
me?
upon which calls upon the General Assembly to create a treaty that would programs or hidden cameras after
Also in poor
Basically,
countries,
really,
cameras
in
the
poor
form-
countries, it would probably be suspicious even if there's old cameras or phones.
yeah, so they
cell
would go somewhere else.
That's why you hide them.
Are you
Mm.
suggesting we scratch the idea of Vietnam?
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's a good idea.
Yeah, just like it could be done in a different way.
But
think
it would
yes,
have to
it is a
change
good idea.
for it to work
Go ahead,
really
Cassie.
well.
Like, who said that poor countries might not be able to afford security cameras?
That would be the delegate of Qatar.
So, like Qatar said, poor countries aren't going to be able to afford security cameras.
An idea is that the UN could give the
Oh yeah, they could
cameras
support that.
and
Too.
The
stuff.
UN is also
They need some
supporting.
money, but like,
That's good. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like we don't expect them to have camera, like a few
Camera,
But where is the UN gonna get all these old cell phones and cameras from?
donations, e-waste, literally are just piles. There's
They
always
could just
piles of
make cameras and then make them look old.
Yeah.
or get money because a lot of donations do go to the UN.
Yeah, why don't they
Yeah.
just
Now, what
build
if you
cameras?
put little camp, like literally a size this, here. Like a size like this, not even a bug. It just sticks off the tree. A tree.
Like a
It sticks off
GoPro
tree,
kind of.
or
Kind
sticks
of
off
like
a
a
fence.
GoPro.
It just looks like a rivet.
Hmm.
So like, if they're little look where the black is. I just
Or you could make it
right on
like
that black dot.
They make robotic animals. Why couldn't they make robotic trees?
I guess.
Because that'd be way too expensive now, Tyler. I mean, delegate
Although that wouldn't really work because
And
then
they
the
chop it
people would
down.
cut down the robotic trees.
Delegates, I see a hand raised, even though it's informal. It looks like Belize is trying to add to the conversation. Do you want to give that delegate a chance to speak?
a few things. First, if you could please refer, instead of saying poor countries, developing countries, it's more polite.
Fair.
And second, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it would be like old phones and stuff that people wouldn't use anymore. That's so they wouldn't be that expensive because I read somewhere that lots of people who don't have enough money for other things have phones, but
So delegates, thank you for that. Is there any additional changes based on this discussion that you'd like to see reflected in operative paragraph number 12? Great, seeing none. Are there any other suggestions of operative paragraphs to discuss at this time?
wait, for number 12 also, it says it says the Space 50 program, but it wouldn't really be the Space 50 program if they weren't using space. So I don't see how that really works.
I don't actually know how Kenya would have to explain the Space 50 program thoroughly.
Kenya, can you explain?
Yeah, so I don't get it really either because they put the cameras on Earth, not in space.
I think it says.
But there's also satellites in space that they put up there, so.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's satellite. Oh, so that's why they call it Space 50 due to the satellites. Okay.
An idea would be that instead of having like larger cameras, they could have small ones that had like the kind of wood that comes from the tree, and then they could just like,
Yeah, you could even have them like a mirror reflection, so it reflects the
yeah,
whatever their habitat or wherever they are.
Yeah, and this
and
is
even once
getting
it's
a little
recorded,
bit
they should make it
expensive
so that it
here.
automatically goes to a different
Yes, mirrors
computer.
are expensive.
Because if they have to go and look at the recording, then the person might have already destroyed it. Like, it should go automatically to a different computer.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
like-
so there's a device that knows where they are and automatically has the recording of these like
Yes,
small
and
little
satellites
videos.
also can work if they're close enough to the Earth where they orbit. Satellites will work that
Yeah.
they can see which
Yeah.
like places in forests are planning to be cut down.
Once again, though,
think we're getting a
developing
little
countries
picky, I think.
can't just.
Yes,
Like we're trying to change
developing
the
countries
programs. Like
would
I don't know,
not
I
be
think we're
able
getting a
to
little
do
picky.
that. And I feel like developing countries, because they're still developing, they have more forests often because they haven't cut them all down.
Well, a lot of places haven't cut all their trees down.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that developing countries often have a lot more trees than, like, actually, larger countries are mainly developed already. So I should more say their density of trees is a lot larger than developed countries.
Qatar's like one of the smallest countries here, and they're probably one of the most developed countries too.
Yeah, I'm not saying all countries are developed or all small countries are not developed. I'm saying that a lot of larger countries are more developed than smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we gotta. Yeah, but I don't know if that's.
We're now debating about sizes of developing countries.
I don't think we should be debating right now. I think we should maybe get on to co-sponsorship and line by line because we're just talking about.
Delegate of Tuvalu, I noticed you had a hand earlier. Was there another comment you wanted to add before we close this piece of discussion?
Maybe instead of cameras, you actually have people working there because you'll still have people monitoring the cameras.
Insect?
It's the same amount of people
There's still-
working,
There's
just guarding conservation
True.
areas.
There's people in the forests.
I like that
You
idea.
just get people to
Yeah,
go
but
and live there.
You just don't want those
and
people
then
getting
just
hurt.
make sure that nobody cuts
What
them down.
happens if you disguise the cameras as insects or animals?
No,
Is a good idea.
Yeah, but
That is very expensive.
You know what happens when they detect a hunter? So people anyways have to go out there. There's the same chance of getting hurt.
I don't know, launch a net.
if there's guards and those people want to cut down those trees,
The guards
and
will
like
either
literally whatever's
Robotic
standing in their
insect
way,
with
they don't care.
as
They're gonna, like
eyes.
do whatever it
Good
takes
work,
that it would.
but not as well for developing countries, as they don't have enough money.
So maybe what we do is we put guards on site.
I know, but they might hurt the guards. That's just what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah, but wouldn't you just give the guards like guns or something, and then
Give the guards guns and they give
like
them
a guy
armor.
with an
Oh, but
axe
when you
ain't
give
gonna hurt
them
them.
Guns? That's like not peaceful. Do you think the UN's really gonna give them guns?
Remember the
That's
statue at the
true.
front
Yeah,
of
well, the
UN
UN,
building, okay?
but think about it this way: peacekeepers have guns. Remember, like in a lot
I
of
get what you're
places
saying.
where they're stopping wars, they have to use guns.
But
The
that's
UN,
not stopping wars.
I hear you, UK,
Think
but
about the
I guess the
statue in
UN's not
front
going to
of
walk
the
around
UN
with
building.
guns. They're going to try and
It
stop and make it.
literally has
We're not
a
gonna
yeah,
gun.
it's just like okay, then
And
how do you
peacekeepers
stop
have
a
a
guy
gun
with an axe?
because they're walking into a war zone.
Yeah, I know, but like.
Does the
Not gonna
plane-
pay
I
people
don't
to
mind if
shoot
they're
them.
not. No, I'm not saying they have to use guns. I'm saying that what do you want them to have to defend themselves from the guy with the axe?
Delegates, it sounds like there's a proposal on the table to consider whether the operative paragraph number 12 should be expanded to include the notion of human surveillance, and whether we should add to this paragraph an element of having humans be a part of catching poachers in the act. And it seems like there's some active debate on both sides as to the safety of that for those people, and whether that is aligned with how the United Nations would want to spend their resources and take risks. So at this point, is there a suggestion to either add wording or to leave this piece out? Let's see if we can kind of shape our discussion to either update the document or agree to disagree, and then we can continue on.
How about this? We have
This
the
is just an
cameras.
idea, but what if the country chose how they wanted to deal with the people
Thanks for
who
getting me
wanted,
some.
like, have the human people at the site, and then the country can choose how they want
Okay.
to have the people armed, like with guns or with nothing, or just police with tiny pistols, anything.
I was about to say that there's cameras, and the cameras go to like police stations.
Mm-hmm.
The delegate of Australia agrees with Vietnam.
I would just put a bug down or something, like not an actual bug, like a
Okay.
mechanical bug, and then just put the
That's
cameras in.
expensive.
No, it's not
Yeah.
that expensive.
It
It's
would
hard to
be
make a
though.
small camera.
For the UN, it's not that expensive.
Well,
It's the
small
UN. It's the
cameras
UN
are
of developing
expensive.
countries.
Insect bugs
If you
aren't
think about
expensive.
it, small
not talking
cameras are
about insect
expensive
bugs.
because that's probably good technology in small
design.
space. And that would make sense to be expensive.
Yeah, I know, but the UN
I
is going
think
to
Belize
support it.
wants to say something. Oh,
The UN does not have infinite money.
Yeah, I
Developing
know.
countries do not have.
They do have a
large
lot,
sum
and
of
they're
money.
willing to help.
yes, but they don't have
You know how much
infinite
they're
money.
already helping with
They
other
couldn't
things?
buy 5 million little camera bugs. They couldn't do that. I doubt it.
Yeah, they
So-
probably could.
They could start
Not
a
5 million. You don't need 5 million.
Well, think
could-
about it. We have the entire world to cover.
Yes,
they could start
every
a fund.
single forest
They could start a
in
fund.
the world.
Yeah.
That covers. I mean, it used to cover like 3/4 of the world. Now it only covers like 1/4. But still, that's like 5 million hectares.
Thank you, delegates. This
Weird.
is a really, really engaging discussion, and I like how all the delegations are giving it good consideration. So in the interest of time, because there are so many other thoughtful ideas on our draft resolution here, I'm going to propose that we move on and leave operative clause number 12 as it is. The added discussion around specifying the type of camera is what I'm hearing is sort of up for debate at this point, whether we'll have insect type cameras and the relative costs of that. If somebody wants to propose specific wording,
Yeah, I'll do it.
that can be done, or it can be left as is, and then we're going to need to move on. And then depending on how your country feels, you can choose to co-sponsor or maybe make a suggestion in the line-by-line review if you're not a co-sponsor, but we will need to move on. So if anyone would like to propose additional wording, go ahead, Australia.
Calls upon the General Assembly to create a treaty that have countries enforce the implementation of Space 50 program that hidden cameras to catch the act of poaching. Hidden cameras, then delete the rest, or to catch the act of poaching. Countries will be given the choice to choose what type of camera they would like, and will report back to the UN for a quote.
I think that's good because some countries are going to want different types of cameras.
True.
Yes, there you go.
Some might want large cameras that kind of intimidate the person so that they wouldn't do it. Some might want small so that the person can't see.
Some might want insect. I think the delegate of the UK will agree on this.
Delegate of Australia agrees.
Delegate of Vietnam agrees.
What about drones with cameras?
No, they're gonna see that and then cut it down.
Each country will get to choose for themselves.
Yeah, but if they do
Delegate of
have
China
drones with
agrees.
cameras, then they'll just leave.
Delegate of Spain agrees.
Thank you, delegates.
Delegate of Tuvalu agrees.
Would anyone else like to look at another operative paragraph that they'd like to discuss or suggest changes to?
I think we're ready to go to line by line review.
You gotta see who co-sponsors first. I don't know. Maybe everyone.
Yeah.
We'll do this all in due process, delegates. So first, let's give every delegation an opportunity to look through and ask to review.
You add stuff?
No, at this point, we're just looking at the elements that have already been identified in each of the subtopic working groups. We are at our maximum number of operative paragraphs.
Isn't it?
I believe it's around 10:30. So
Yeah, we're at 10:06 and you're doing great.
Doesn't really matter.
So are there any other paragraphs or wording that anyone would like to comment on? Seeing none. At this time, I would like each delegation to indicate if their country would like to co-sponsor this draft resolution. So just a reminder, co-sponsorship means two things. The first thing it means is that your country has participated in the creation of this draft resolution, which everybody here has. And it also indicates that your country is satisfied and can support all of the material that is in this draft resolution. If you'd like to co-sponsor, please use the hand raise tool, just like the delegate of China has done. Delegate of China, are you raising your hand to indicate co-sponsorship, or did you have a question? Perfect, you're leading us the way. Thank you for being such a leader. So please raise your hand if you would like to act as a co-sponsor. And then Mrs. Young, could you document at the very top the list of co-sponsors under the title? If your hand falls down for some reason, just we haven't called your delegation's name, just leave it up. So right now, everybody who wants to be a part should have their hand up. So we have the delegate of the UK. Just waiting.
So far, I think I see everyone but Belize in Spain, but some hands are falling, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go through each way. Don't worry. Okay.
no, Spain's hand is up.
Oh, yep. So just Belize.
Perfect. So once you see your name up there, you can lower your hand.
Join a big call with Lucas. Okay.
The UK all did put up the hand. You may.
Did Belize put up his hand or her hand?
Thank you, delegate.
Nope. Okay. So is it everyone but the delegate of Belize?
We will get there just momentarily, Australia.
Delegates, please just voice your country name if I have not added your name as a co-sponsor and you wish to be one.
So it looks like our vice chair has captured all co-sponsors on the document. So we have China, Australia, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Singapore, Tuvalu, Qatar, and the United Kingdom.
Spain isn't there.
Spain?
Yeah, Spain.
And Spain.
It's just Belize that did not.
That is totally fine. So at this time, we will conduct a line-by-line review. Now, in the format of a committee meeting, only non-co-sponsors, so only the delegate of Belize, can suggest amendments to this document. So we will ask Belize to specify all amendments, so changes to wording, additions, deletions, wording replacements. And once all of Belize's suggestions have been captured on the document, she will have an opportunity to explain or to speak about those suggested changes. And then all delegates are welcome to reply and participate in the discussion. And when all of those amendments are reflected in the document, then we can look at co-sponsorship again. So Belize, you have the floor. If you would like to make any specific changes, our vice chair will reflect them in the document as suggestions.
Thank you. And Chair, just confirming, I am to make those changes as permanent changes once they're suggested. Is that right?
Well, you'll enter them on the document and then in brackets put BEL for Belize, so we know, and we can just write like add if there's wording added, or replace or delete. So just kind of notate the type of change that's being suggested. And then we'll go back to each one and discuss.
Right, and keep the original documentation there.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Belize.
Can you scroll down a little, please? For the wait, I just have a question though.
Go ahead.
First, for the sewer nets, what would they be made out of?
So I have the idea because Australia. So they're like these, I don't know how to explain them. They're like these like wire kind of nets. And they've caught, I can get the number exactly 1 second for you. They've caught in 800, they're on pace to collect 815 kilograms of plastic in 4 months, have only caught 2 animals. One of them has gone through, one of them has been back in the wild and one of them died. And yeah, so they're a newer idea and they're like, kind of like, I don't know, like not wire, but like, I don't know, they're custom kind of ones.
Okay.
Can
Can you scroll down?
I found a picture of them. You just have to search up Australia sewer nets if you want to see what they actually look like.
For educating people on the importance of protecting, for number 8, in Belize, there's a very small literacy rate, which means, well, not very small, but it's like 70% or something. and they means they don't or didn't have access to education. So how would they be able to get education to people who don't generally have access to?
Please, I'm just going to stop for 1 second. So the discussion that's happening now is exactly what was part of the last phase of informal consultation. So the idea of asking each other questions in the document about each of the operative clauses to understand them more and then refine them as a group. So that's what that merging process is. And then now that we're in line by line, the idea of line by line is really just to say, you know, delete this sentence, change this word, so that the operative paragraph is something more consistent with what your country would agree with, as opposed to trying to generate discussion and debate. So it seems almost as though there's an urge to be back in the phase before.
I'm just trying to figure out how things would work so it would work in Belize.
Right. So that's what we want to do in the informal consultation. When we go to each one of these points and say, wait, what was that? What were we thinking about? Or how does that work? Or how could that work in my country? Right. So that was, and we got really in depth with a couple of them, but then there's a lot of them that we didn't touch. So at this point, we still have some time, although we have already itemized our co-sponsors. So I would suggest that we stay in line by line. And if you read it and you think that there's something that we can add to make it more clear, or you have a suggestion, please add it, and then we can discuss it once we have that written down. Take your time.
Can you get rid of the S on cups in 10? And can you add almost fully electric? No, can you do fully hybrid?
I think it's for number 9.
9, sorry.
Are we allowed to?
Belize, sorry, excuse me, Australia, just before we move on, Belize, do you want to replace fully electric with fully hybrid or add hybrid?
Fully electric or hybrid.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to explain something?
Not at this time, Delegate. We'll collect all of Belize's amendments, and then we will go back and they can be discussed or described one by one.
Belize, going back to your question about the education piece here, is there something that you feel could be added to this operative paragraph that would sort of reach out to those individuals in your country to make sure that the education was in a form that would reach those individuals? Take your time with that. That's where you started, so make sure you don't overlook that one.
Further requests to find ways to educate people? No, to educate all people.
To find ways?
Find ways to educate all people.
Is that read clearly to you?
Are we waiting for
I
something?
don't have any other changes.
Thank you, Belize. Seeing as there are no other changes, we'll work our way through from the top to the bottom. It looks like the first change occurred in line item number 8, and the suggested wording is further requests educating people to find, further requests to find ways to educate all people on the importance of protecting biodiversity and the looming problem of pollution. Other delegates are welcome to also suggest, alternate ways of framing this if they don't agree. Otherwise, we will move on. Are there any objections to this amendment?
I think I understand, but the only thing I'll say is to find ways is, shouldn't we put down the way that we should? To find ways is good, but the only thing I would want to add is there any way that would help Belize or any other developing countries that to help like teach about this? Is there a way that would help make that happen?
Delegate, do you have a suggestion for how the wording could be to reflect your thoughts?
No, I guess not the direct wording. It would just be a question.
Okay, does anyone else object or have alternative wording? Perhaps something that reflects what the delegate of UK was suggesting? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 9. Supports the idea of encouraging car companies to go fully electric by 2030.
I have a change.
It's going to be fully electric or hybrid by 2030. Are there any objections?
Yep.
Hold on, Debbie. It's a formal consultation, so please always wait to be called upon and use the hand raise tool if you'd like to speak. Delegate of Australia.
You said hybrid, but multiple companies are going fully electric. Like I think it was Honda. They're saying they're going fully electric. So I don't know. Like most companies are not going to go through hybrid. They're just going to go fully electric.
Belize, would you like to respond?
Just that electric cars tend to be more expensive.
They're actually getting cheaper over time, as by 2030 they're likely going to be the regular price of the normal car, and they're also likely going to be like the normal car and common, and that gas cars will be like old cars.
Thank you,
That's
Delegate.
kind of
Remember, this is formal consultation, Delegate, so you must raise your hand to be called upon before you can speak informal. I see the Delegate of Qatar has a hand raised. Go ahead.
I agree with the hybrid. I agree with going hybrid instead of going full electric, because if you run out of energy, you can just go to a gas station. Plus, all the gas stations that are over will be closed pretty much, and they will all have to put in new electric, all the new electric charging stations, which like might be kind of expensive. So just in one of all those gas stations, they'll all be closed and have to put in the charging stations, and they might have.
Maybe we say. Oh, I don't raise your hand, but.
Please
I
continue.
just think I like the idea of the hybrid instead of the fully electric.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate of Australia, and then we'll come to Delegate of Kenya.
Maybe we say support the idea of encouraging car companies to go fully hybrid by 2026. That's 5 years from now, because they probably can get fully electric by 2030. That's 9 years. It's a lot. But maybe in 5 years, they'll have fully hybrid. So maybe we change it. Supports the idea of encouraging car companies to go fully hybrid by 2026.
Thank you, Delegate. I'm going to let Kenya speak, and then I'm going to ask Belize to respond. Go ahead, Kenya.
Did they like lower the price a lot? so more people will want to buy electric or hybrid cars.
Cordelia, are you suggesting that they should lower the price a lot or that they have lowered the price a lot?
Well, I think they should.
They should. Yeah, thank you, Delegate. Belize, there was a suggestion of amending this line to read fully hybrid by 2026 and fully electric by 2030. How does your delegation feel about that?
I agree.
Right. All right. Delegate of Qatar, and I'll come back to Delegate of UK. Qatar, did you have an additional comment?
No, I don't.
Thank you, Delegate. UK?
I get what you mean by hybrid by that time, but now you're not at, but I think we should like say hybrid by then, and then can we also say, but we want to go fully electric by 2030, because now you're not including the original part about going electric.
Thank you, Delegate. I think
Because
that was the suggestion from the Delegate of Australia to have both. So the hybrid by 2026 and the electric by 2030.
yeah,
Thank you. Delegate of Vietnam?
I believe that it's almost the time that we went on a break yesterday.
Thank you, Delegate. I can feel that everybody is ready to move and have some nutrition. And so I'm just testing the waters because once, if we have consensus on this and either by all co-sponsorship or by a vote, then our meeting will be adjourned. And so a break will be necessary. And it looks as though we've gotten through almost every change. So if delegates could maintain decorum for another few minutes, I have a suspicion that we will have something to celebrate very shortly.
Excuse me, Chair, would you like me to make that hybrid electric change? And do I do it in the original line?
Yes, please go ahead and you can amend the original line. Now that we seem to have no further objections, and we will move ahead to number 10. Belize has suggested that the acronym be reflected as CUP instead of CUPS. Are there any objections to this amendment? Delegate of UK?
the cups, cups is plural. That's why it was put there, because we put cups as cups for plural, because the government, because we're asking them to do cups as in like clean up programs, because unless all the governments are just going to make one, that would be cup. Cups is the plural version.
I think we stay with cup.
Thank you, Delegate. I'm going to give Belize a chance to reply.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so the Delegate of Belize says we can leave it as cups.
Thank you. Can I delete the suggestion by Belize there, Chair?
Yes, you may. Delegate of Australia, did you have any further objections? No. Seeing none, are there any other amendments that have not been reviewed? No. So at this time, Belize, I'd like to invite you. Would you like to join co-sponsorship of this document, or would you like to remain in a non-co-sponsor?
If I don't become a co-sponsor, what?
If you don't become a co-sponsor, it'll go to a vote.
Oh, then I'll just be a co-sponsor.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. So if you could please, Vice Chair, reflect the addition of Belize to our list of co-sponsorship. That concludes our line-by-line review. And since all delegates have co-sponsored this draft resolution, it passes by consensus. Congratulations, delegates. Your draft resolution is now your final resolution, and you have passed this by the highest form of agreement that is possible in the United Nations. That is amazing. Yes, big cheers. Congratulations. Amazing. I am so touched.
Congratulations, delegates. Great work.
Unbelievable. You are such an amazing group of young, thoughtful leaders. Yeah. So we will be partying. We will be partying next Saturday. We have lots to celebrate. I will send everybody a copy of this. You can share it with anyone who you like to show the work that we've done. Yeah, everyone can do a little dance. Yay, bravo. So the only thing left to do is to adjourn this meeting. So I officially declare this meeting adjourned. Delegate of Australia, did you want to help with that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, you already did it.
All right, and I would like to treat you to a closing ceremonies video where you can share your wish for the world, for all to see. So if you hang on 1 second, I will get that queued up for you to enjoy. Tight, delegates. Looks like it may have closed. Oh, here it is. All right. Can you see the screen? Excellent.
Yes, we can.
All right.
On behalf of Australia, my wish for the world is to conquer COVID-19 and for the world to be healthier than it's ever been.
My wish for the world is for people to actually listen to each other instead of just automatically disagreeing instead of listening.
On behalf of China, my wish for the world is for people and nature to live in harmony and balance.
On behalf of Kazakhstan, my wish for the world is that all homes and buildings will be eco-friendly.
On behalf of Kenya, my wish for the world is for animals to live in their natural habitats and to have plastic-free oceans.
On behalf of Qatar, my wish for the world is for global sustainability and human civilization to coexist with biodiversity.
On behalf of Singapore, my wish for the world is to be a cleaner and safer place to live for all species.
On behalf of Spain, my wish for the world is peace among nations and a healthy planet.
On behalf of my country, Tuvalu, my wish for the world is to stop climate change and stop water levels from rising so Tuvalu does not sink.
On behalf of the UK, my wish for the world is for everyone to be happy.
My wish for the world is that people stop being cruel to animals.
Delegates, my wish for the world is that our world can continue to experience your courage and your passion and your energy for a very long time to come. I think we're in great hands with you as our future leaders. I am so honored to have been able to spend not just these past 2 days with you, but these past 12 weeks learning and growing. I don't think you realize it, but you have taught me, I think, much more than I have taught you. And I am very grateful to each one of you. So you have earned a very relaxing day. I hope you spend it in a way that feels great. And feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to say anything to each other.
See you guys next week, I guess. Bye.
Yes, ice cream.
Ice
Yay.
Ice cream.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Great work today.
I'm very grateful.
Bye. Thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Cole. Thanks. Great work.
Go.